History is full of people who thought invading certain countries was a great idea, and then spent the rest of history as cautionary tales. Napoleon invading Russia, Hitler invading Russia, pretty much everyone invading Russia. But today we're not talking about Russia. We're talking about a country that looks peaceful, picturesque, and polite until you try to march in. If you ever got the idea of invading Norway, congratulations. You've just chosen one of the dumbest military plans on planet Earth. Let's break it down. First, the geography. Norway isn't just a country, it's nature's fortress. The coastline is measured in tens of thousands of kilometers when you count every fjord and inlet. And that coastline, those fjords, and those narrow sea lanes are defense gold. Fjords make perfect naval traps. Deep confined waters that funnel ships into kill zones and hide submarines in plain sight. Cliffs and promontories give defenders commanding artillery and missile positions that dominate approaches. The weather is not an inconvenience, it's an enemy. Sudden storms, Arctic fog, icing, and a winter that chews up unprepared equipment and timelines. Try to land an invasion force and you'll be navigating icy channels while submarines and anti-ship missiles wait in the wings. By the time you hit the first valley, you've already bled hours, fuel, and options. Those valleys and mountain passes don't just slow you down, they shape the fight. Roads vanish, bridges become choke points, and resupply lines become fragile threads that can be cut in one decisive blow. Invading Norway isn't a frontal assault. It's a logistical suicide mission where terrain and weather do more damage than the defenders at first, and then the defenders finish the job. On paper, Norway's armed forces look modest, roughly in the tens of thousands of active personnel, backed by a sizable home guard and reserves. But numbers alone are misleading. Norway's forces are optimized for their mission: defend a long, rugged coastline and the increasingly strategic Arctic. Their force design emphasizes mobility in cold, sensors, submarines, air power, and rapid local mobilization, exactly the toolkit an invader hates to face. Norway invested early and decisively in the F-35 Lightning II. It has completed its program of record and become one of the first partner nations to do so, fielding a modern, stealthy fighter fleet based at hubs like Erland and Evenes, aircraft that integrate tightly into NATO networks for air control, surveillance, and strike. That air picture matters. When your adversary's jets are linked to allied sensors and command systems, surprise evaporates. The Royal Norwegian Navy isn't about big decks and carrier groups. It's about stealth, anti-submarine warfare, and coastal denial. Fridtjof Nansen-class frigates operate with Aegis-like capabilities, giving Norway serious edge in air and missile defense at sea, while Ula-class diesel-electric submarines remain famously quiet and ideal for operating in fjords and littoral waters where a larger adversary's ASW efforts struggle. That combination makes Norway's coast a risky puzzle for any fleet trying to coerce or invade. The army is lean but built to thrive in cold and complex terrain. Units trained to operate on skis and snowmobiles, to fight in sub-zero conditions, and to use the landscape for asymmetric advantage. This isn't theoretical. Norway runs large-scale Arctic exercises and trains regularly with allies to sharpen those specific skills. The Home Guard, tens of thousands of reservists embedded all over the country, can mobilize quickly, providing local knowledge and force multiplication that makes occupation politically and practically expensive. When the entire country can be part of the fight within hours, conventional calculations about occupying territory crumble. And if you think overwhelming numbers make the difference, remember Norway's strategic backstop, NATO. Norway is a founding member of the alliance and sits on the front line of NATO's Arctic posture. Article 5 isn't an empty clause. It's the alliance's core security guarantee. An attack on Norway would trigger consultation and likely collective response, meaning any invader risks not only Norway's defenders, but American, British, French, and other allied forces, arriving with far greater reach and firepower. NATO trains constantly only in these conditions. Exercises like cold response, now evolved into broader Nordic response, Nordic exercises, regularly bring tens of thousands of allied troops to practice high-latitude operations across Norway, Sweden, and Finland. That isn't rehearsal for show, it's rehearsal for the exact scenario a would-be aggressor would face. Norway's Arctic geography also gives it outsized strategic value. It shares a short but crucial border with Russia in the far north, a frontier that has become central to great power competition as melting ice opens sea lanes and exposes resources. Moscow invests heavily in submarines, ice-capable logistics, and Arctic infrastructure. Western planners watch the Kola Peninsula and Northern Sea approaches closely. Norway therefore functions as NATO's gatekeeper in the high north. Early warning radars, maritime patrols, and forward-deployed sensors on Norwegian soil are the first line of detection against moves from the east. And the country's F-35s and maritime assets feed that picture to allies. Fail here, and the geopolitical consequences are immediate. Modern conflict is rarely settled by brawn alone, and Norway leans into that reality. Instead of trying to outspend larger powers on mass formations, Oslo prioritizes technology, interoperability, and asymmetric denial. Cyber defenses, electronic warfare, drones, integrated air and missile defense, and a focus on anti-access/area denial tactics make Norway a cost imposer. You can take ground, maybe, but holding it will be prohibitively expensive. The doctrine is simple: make the prize more costly than the pursuer can afford. Finally, don't gloss over the societal dimension. Norway's culture includes mandatory service, deep civil-military cooperation, and a strong civic ethos. Dugnad, where communities organize and pitch in. The Norwegian experience with resistance and mobilization is both historical and contemporary. Civilian infrastructure, local knowledge, and a population that can rapidly support mobilization create friction and delay for any occupier, multiplying costs far beyond frontline casualties. So let's be crystal clear. Invading Norway isn't merely a bad idea. It's a cascading failure baked into the geography, climate, military design, alliance architecture, and society of a nation optimized to make invasion intolerably costly. Mountains channel movement, fjords trap fleets, cold degrades materiel, stealth jets and submarines deny freedom of action. NATO multiplies response, and the people complicate occupation at every turn. If you're still thinking about marching in, here's the plain truth. The mountains will slow you. The weather will break you. The Norwegian military will out-adapt you. NATO will outmatch you. And the population will never, ever quit. It's not just a tactical problem, it's a strategic, political, and human one. So to anyone out there still considering it, stay home, book the fjord cruise, and don't poke the Vikings. In Norway, the only thing colder than the winters is the reception reserved for invaders. Don't test it, period. If you liked this video and want to see more geopolitical tensions and military powers across the globe, like and subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Unlock military secrets.